So it looks like the long-awaited skill tree and Javelin gameplay and builds blog has finally come at long last. And when I say it has everything that we have ever asked for, it has literally everything that we have ever asked for and more. I'm talking skill trees, new passive abilities, stat boosts, specializations with their own advanced skill trees, and more. So buckle up, freelancers. This is going to be a long video, but one that is worth every single second. This blog and information comes courtesy of Christian Daly, BioWare Austin's studio director, who posts this blog over on Twitter and on BioWare.com. A link to that will be in the description below. He starts off by saying, "Hello friends, here we are again with the next Anthem blog." Haha, good pun. Better late than never. Really excited to share a glimpse into the thoughts and ideas behind the great work the team has been exploring. I hope this finds you well and everyone is staying safe. As discussed on Twitter, this blog will focus around the ideas being tested within Javelin gameplay, builds, and skill trees. The design team, with your feedback, has put together what we feel are the main opportunities for improvement with the current systems and the high-level goals we're experimenting with. Side note, the picture above is not Star Destroyer ASC2 art, but an actual skill tree in Frostbite. And before you all ask, yeah, I've zoomed in, I've tried to enhance it, the whole 9 yards, there's no luck. It's just a bunch of blurbs, which I'm sure that was kind of the intention. But if this is any indication of what the skill trees are actually going to be per Javelin, per class, this is going to get nutty real fast. He also has a little note here that says, please remember, the ideas, mock-ups, and directions are all works in progress. We are testing and exploring ideas that we are excited to share with you for your feedback. But things can, and usually do, change. One point I want to make really quickly before we get into the meat and potatoes of this video is to kind of bounce off of that and say, these are rough blockouts probably of the UI. Nothing is finalized, and obviously it could radically change between now and Anthem 2.0's launch. I feel like I need to say that because despite having multiple disclaimers in the last blog video about the loot coming in Anthem 2.0, a lot of people were drawing conclusions like, oh, this UI looks like a copy and paste from Destiny. This is literally their rough blockout and mock-up stage. We are more than likely a good year or so away from Anthem 2.0's release, and things like UI elements are tinkered with up until the last minute. But with that out of the way, let's get into it. So we start off with the section about Javelin gameplay and builds. Christian says, as we've spent time engaging with you all and avidly playing the game, we've seen and heard a common theme. Anthem doesn't offer satisfying Javelin builds. I wonder who said that before. We want to improve this too, so we're excited to hear what you all have to think about the changes we are trialing around the concept of builds. Choice and experimentation in your loadout. All items are categorized to one of 11 available equipment slots. Weapons are either primary or secondary, allowing distinctiveness in their roles. Mods and artifact slots replace components. Manage equipment and abilities in your loadout screen. So really quickly, let's break this down. The 11 slots that he is talking about are the 2 weapons, the artifact, 3 additional slots for what I'm assuming to be mods, and then over on the right-hand corner, abilities and mods, and I'm assuming those abilities will unlock as you level up that Javelin, such as you can see here with the melee weapon, the 2 signature abilities, the support ability, and the ultimate ability. In other words, you'll be able to modify all of those and select what goes in those equipment slots. Additionally, I think the idea of primary and secondary weapons is an interesting move. While it does play a little bit more into the Destiny side of things, we really need to see more of what primary and secondary weapons are. Are primary weapons going to be more kinetic-based weapons, or are secondary weapons going to be more explosive or elemental-dealing weapons? And this is probably one of the most exciting things for me with this blog. Mods and artifacts replace components. Now, components aren't technically going away because we've got mods, but now your builds and your synergies are not completely tied to components, which I personally believe was one of Anthem's largest cruxes back in the day. And then of course, managing your equipment and your abilities in the loadout screen. This looks a lot less convoluted than what we have right now. Not to say the one we have right now is necessarily bad, but this one looks a lot more streamlined and straightforward, and you actually see what you have equipped. Moving on to the next section, we have reliably create builds. Abilities are unlocks, not drops. Play with the abilities you want when you want. Empower your abilities by equipping them with mods. Builds are defined by the synergies of specializations, abilities, and equipment. Inscriptions move build synergies, but no longer the primary factor. So breaking this down really quickly, thank God abilities are no longer tied to RNG. In theory, you could go the entire game, play 100 hours on a storm, and never get a burning orb or 10,000 suns. That's just how RNG works. And even if you got that ability, the inscriptions could be garbage, thereby rendering that ability that you would want to use in either your builds, or just for fun because you enjoy it, pretty much useless in higher tier content. But now abilities can be unlocked and you can modify them with, well, mods. And now with builds being defined by what really matters, specializations, abilities, and equipment, not just inscriptions, that changes the game big time. I can already see myself making an innumerable number of build videos and optimizations and what have you. Now that I'm no longer held back by, oh, you need to have an Eternal Squall with at least a 200% gear charge rate. You know? Moving on to the next point, we've got provide choice and progression through skill trees. Each Javelin can level up, awarding skill points. Skill points can be spent to unlock abilities, passives, and stat boosts. Each specialization has its own advanced skill tree. So as you can see here from this screenshot, you've got a pretty basic Ranger Javelin skill tree, and I'm sure they're going to expand upon it more later. But it looks like you can plot your own course and decide where those skill points go. Now, by the looks of it, there are some very basic abilities up until you get to your advanced customization. So I'm assuming you would have, the base melee axe, you'd have the base Ranger grenade, and then you'd have another base Ranger grenade. You get your support ability unlocked, and then you get your ultimate ability unlocked, and that gets you through the first couple levels. Then, assumingly, you pick your advanced skill tree, such as the captain, the longbow, or the soldier, and those will have this specialized thing like maybe a frost axe or different support ability and different abilities in general. Now, one thing that already kind of satisfies me springs to mind. You're going to have to really make your choices about what you want. So let's say the longbow has the flame grenade, the incendiary grenade, and the captain has the sticky grenade. You can no longer have both. Basically, you can't buy one of everything on the menu for one price. You have to pick and choose what you really want. Just like in every other looter shooter, MMO, or skill tree based game. And I really like the idea of leveling up each individual Javelin. I'm assuming the level cap is level 30 because that's where we're at right now. And I would assume with Anthem 2.0's release, we're going to be knocked all the way back down to level 1. That way we can experience the skill trees firsthand, and that just makes the most sense to me. I'm not complaining. But it also adds another layer to progression and adds more playtime for each Javelin. For example, I'd have to level up my Interceptor from level 1 to 30 to go play endgame content. Level it up through the skill trees, grind out the mods, etc. But great, I have this level 30 Interceptor, and maybe I want to go play the Storm on some endgame content. Well, now you have to level up that Javelin, really learn the ins and outs of it, and experiment with skill trees. Personally, I like that so much, and it gives that time investment and that feeling of love and care for each individual Javelin. Next up, we have expand on the fantasy and play styles of each Javelin. Javelins have access to multiple specializations that cater to different styles of gameplay. Each Javelin now wields a powerful artifact that can be customized. Now, looking at this artifact, I'm assuming that this is a Shaper relic, but it really doesn't look like one to me. So is it an artifact of the Legion of Dawn? An artifact that has been reverse engineered from some Shaper tech? Or was a Shaper relic one day like, I really want to create this Skyfall launcher for this very specific Javelin. There you go, have at it. I don't know, it looks too clean and too new to me to be an artifact. I can't wait to delve into this a little bit more in a future video. There's a whole nother half to this blog post with a ton of information going in depth into what skill trees are and what the artifacts actually do to your Javelins. But as I'm looking over at the time, this video is already getting pretty long. So what I'm going to do is in tomorrow's video, we're going to really break down skill trees, what they are, and get really into the nitty-gritty into seeing what they can really do for us. Spoiler alert, it's pretty cool and I cannot wait to speculate with you all then. So be sure to leave a like and subscribe to make sure you don't miss out on that video. I'll leave off with a closing from Christian Daly, who says, I wanted to close with a thank you to the community for being engaged and providing constructive conversations and feedback on social media. We can't respond to everything, but we do see you and we appreciate all the feedback you provide. Thank you for your input and patience. I also wanted to give a special heartfelt shout out to the Anthem team. This is a group of passionate developers that are dealing with stresses of the world as we all are, and the trials and tribulations of game development, but continue to bring a passion and enthusiasm each day to make the game we all love better. Thank you. Until next time, friends, stay safe, be kind, be well. Stronger together. Christian. Sincerely, if there are any BioWare developers listening to this, thank you. Sincerely, thank you. This is practically everything that I have been asking for since day one, and I know so many of us in the community have been asking for ages. We're now going to have meaningful loot, meaningful skill trees, actual stat sheets present, advanced skill trees, abilities no longer being bound to RNG. This blog has been an absolute chef kiss, and I cannot wait to discuss this more with you all in the coming days and weeks. But what do you all think about this blog? What did you enjoy the absolute most, or what do you have some criticisms for? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below, and as always, I will reply if there's conversational potential, and if I have the time. And if you enjoyed this video and want to help the channel out, then please be sure to leave a like and subscribe, as it really does help me out and allows me to reach more freelancers just like you. I hope all of you fantastic freelancers have an absolutely phenomenal day as always, and I'm looking forward to seeing each and every last one of you in the next video very soon. And remember, freelancers, we are strong alone, but we are stronger together.